just another 3 weeks, just maybe till October or maybe Christmas or 2025. Hello and welcome to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. You are on Revolution Radio Studio A. A big thank you to Why Not and crew for the last 2 hours. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can, because we're 100% listener supported, 100% volunteer, and every bit helps. So if you just pay, I don't know, say $5 each and get 6,000 of your friends, we'll get a year's worth of stuff, because as we move into a form of heaven, bills still need to be paid for the moment, but we'll see. Interesting times we live in. Strange little Chinese man. My name is Monty Dean, as I said, and when you're at the website, buy some merchandise. It's the 1st of September here. Hello from the future. And our Premier has decided that we'll have to extend the lockdown till at least January, probably be January, September the 23rd, and maybe a bit longer. And because we're being good boys and girls, we'll have privileges given back on the proviso that 70% are vaccinated. And they're going for the kids as well. So, yay, reality. Woo! And thank you, Amigo Legolas. Legolas? I've got Lord of the Rings on my brain. Someone that has Lord of the Rings on their brain is Brandon Young. Are you there, sir?
Yes, Monty. Namarie, as we say in Elvish.
Ooh. I loved him, like, Heartbreak Hotel and Clambake. Oh, no, you said Elvish. Sorry, not Elvis. And we've been joined by our New South Wales correspondent, Cortek. And you're in a version of hell as well, but it's the Sydney flavour compared to the Melbourne flavour.
Yeah, we don't get an end date.
Yeah,
is it a big one? Is it week 75? Week 75.
Yes.
I actually just heard a speech from Gladys. Can I play it? Have you got a minute? I'll see if this is terrible.
Yeah. No. Well, we'll see how it works.
See how it goes.
I believe our American cousins need to hear the crap that we have to put up with. So, Australian, go ahead.
I'm a bit tired of hearing people saying, I don't know how to do my job properly. And I think that's really mean. I remember being criticised. Just remind everybody how criticised I was. That's not acceptable. I hope everybody likes staying at home, because we are going to go into lockdown forever. Nobody from New South Wales is going anywhere. We will have 2 million police officers standing at the corner of every street to monitor every single citizen. We're really watching very closely. I hope this really will be devastating. We don't like to be heavy-handed, but what we need to say today now is that if you leave home, we will give you a death sentence. Please know that you will be shot in the face, and I hope it's painful. You are required to obey what we say when we say it, and if you don't, you can prepare to die. I've said from the outset, I don't care about your life and the life of those around you. I don't really give a shit. The government is now about to announce what we call the final solution. We are inspired by history and realise we can very easily permanently get rid of anybody thinking illegal thoughts. We aim to have absolutely zero freedom. Follow the rules, or else you'll never be seen again. If you think you can live freely under our very strict and harsh regime, I have news for you. If you ever consider breaking the rules, I will personally stab you in the head and rip your guts out. We have 24 hours surveillance of every single person in the community. We want to cause anguish, hurt and suffering to as many citizens as possible. Every day at 11 o'clock, every citizen in this state must listen to me. This is the Fourth Reich, and I will make sure that I never, ever, ever give up power till the day I die.
Yeah, I think that may have been edited. Just putting it out there. I don't want people to walk away from Planet Collingwood. They're up to date with reporting on the news.
A lot of work went into that one.
Yeah, well, when you follow your passion, but that sounds about right.
Hilarious.
Yeah, basically, I just recently watched today's Tim Pool episode. On Timcast, and he had Sydney Watson, if you're familiar with her work, the half American, half Australian. She left Australia because she could see where it was going and went to Texas, but unfortunately her family's still here, and so she feels her pain. feels the pain of what we're going through. And yeah, that I realised I don't have to defend Australia anymore. Like, you're a penal colony. Yep. Yeah. All the stuff is like, you don't have any guns. Yep. Mind you, I'd like to point out, I haven't heard anyone say we need guns either. Like, there aren't Australians going, oh, I wish we had our weaponry. Well, not yet. Give it time. Yeah.
Give it time, Rodney.
Yeah. Well, it's what, 20? What are we up to? It's 22 degrees, which is unseasonal. It's a bit warm for the end of winter. So if we have a hot summer, yeah, cranky pants will be put on, because if you've ever experienced Australian weather, try and wear a mask in 38-degree heat Celsius.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah. And that's the Australian official stance. Are you going to wear a mask during summer? Yeah, nah.
I'm going to take an esky down to the water and float around all day.
Well, that's the thing. Because you're sort of going through what you're doing your Melbourne stint now, of what we went through last winter.
Yeah. And
so people don't really care. For lockdown, there's a lot of people out around here in Melbourne. A friend of mine was driving down one of Eastling, a road. Because I realised, the
insert local reference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the three Victorians like, oh, Eastlink, yeah, very nice. We're still paying for that.
Very nice.
Everyone else around the planet, but there's caravans and surfboards, that lockdown's going well. But they're going for the kids here in Victoria, and by the October the 5th, we should have jabbed all the Year 12 students. Okay.
Is it the condition of they won't get their HSC otherwise or something?
Something like that. We call, what's it called now? A VCE, because, we have to be different. It was the high school certificate, but now it's the Victorian Certificate of Education, or WANK.
Every single year it has to be changed. So in a matter of even 3 or 4 years, you cannot compare your education or one's education to 3 or 4 years ago or 3 or 4 years in the future, because it seems like it's being deconstructed.
Basically, yeah. And very interesting weekend where energy wise, I don't know, with CME, shift of consciousness, things happen, people wigged out, and everyone's experiencing their own personal thing. For me, I just saw I woke up today and I've got my show, but I've got all this time beforehand. Should I do something? And every other atom in my being's like, no, just no. Let's find out what the news is about the lockdown. And apparently, it's 3 weeks to it's from between 3 weeks to eternity. Like, oh, that's great. Apparently, we have to have 70% of the adult population injected, and it's
this may take some time.
Yeah. But it's just causing more division, and basically now I've come up with a couple of labels for there's two type of people living here in Victoria: lepers and bootlickers. Being a leper myself, yeah. Because I think in New South Wales, you have to have a vaccine passport to shop and go outside and everything else like that. And that's going to go well.
I thought you were going to lay us down with some leper jokes there. Being a leper myself, I am familiar with certain jokes such as Just the Tip and other classics.
Well, I went to stand up, but my heart wasn't in it. Yeah. I was playing poker and I threw my hand away. Yeah, but it's leprosy is curable. However, it's that two-tier stuff, and
so still in COVID corner, I saw during the week channels some other disreputable news source said better get ready for yearly vaxxers. Surprised. Yeah. Oh, geez, didn't see that coming. Oh.
No, it's kind of hard. I'll have a good show today. I'll try. We're just talking about the same. The insanity continues again. Week 75. For the love of God.
Yeah.
No.
It's hard to sing happy harmonies.
However, how can we win in this reality? By smiling and having fun. Because this is what I got from the Tim Pool episode, is that have your sense of humor and laugh and have elements of enjoyment. And if you keep that, you're winning, even on a base level. It's like, well, it's very Australian, of course. You got to laugh. It's like, yeah, but the house is on fire and we're stuck on the second story and you've broken a leg. Yeah, but you got to laugh. I mean, there's a hint of delusion, but it's like, well, what do you do? Cry about it? Quick,
you pick.
Throw your tears onto the flames. And also, Joe Biden, I don't know, today he's funny again. Did you see the footage? Apparently he met the new Prime Minister of Israel and he fell asleep for 2 minutes.
Did he fall asleep? He looked like he was falling asleep. He looks, in different situation, he's looked just plain old tired, sleepy Joe. Yeah, like he doesn't have much left in him, I don't think.
No, well, and saying stuff like, "Oh, I've been told not to answer questions." It's like, who's Joe's handler? Because if you're the leader of free world, do you trust the person that's changing his diaper?
I'd like a secret service of the government set up to follow him 24/7 in case he ever tries to climb any long sets of stairs again, just in case, just so we can capture it on film.
Well, they've got so much. They've got so much good work done with Hillary Clinton getting up some stairs. So I mean, they've been trained.
It's all gold.
Yeah. So, but I found I was thinking about it earlier today, where there's the far left who want to control everyone, and mostly conservatives, right wings, moderates, libertarians, everyone else apart from the far left want to be left alone. And we're dangerous to society because we're not following the screechings of this one person telling us what to do. So it's a very interesting. Yeah. Oh well. What leper. Deplorable sounds like an upgrade.
I saw something Carl Sagan wrote in 1995 from The Demon Haunted World. Have you seen it? Someone just kind of one of those snippets someone's kind of highlighted. The bits highlighted is I have a foreboding of an America in my children or grandchildren's time when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the key manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of very few and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the public have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media, the 30-second sound bites, now down to 10 seconds or less, lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance. Carl Sagan, 1995.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago. It's really not.
No, it's not. And he seems like a cheery chap.
Well,
he was.
No, he's great. My favorite Carl Sagan quote is this: "Man, I'm stoned." That's it.
I did like how he said billions.
Billions and billions. He never actually said that.
Well,
he never actually said that, which it was funny. He wrote a book about it called.
Is he still alive?
No.
No, he this is the level of
death. And
I was about to say we're at that. This is the level of consciousness that I'm at. No, he escaped. He left the farm. Lucky bastard.
Yeah. He's ascended up to the fifth realm of the reptilian.
Yes. One thing that Tracebook has been doing is you get a notification of things on this day, and you like a year ago, 12 years ago, and I re-shared one thing that I said 4 years ago. The first thing that happens when you enter 5D is you're given a 6D bus pass. Think about it.
That sounds cool.
Because like you spend an eon going, what the hell is this? Because an eon's not that long in 5D apparently.
But an ion. Also,
Yeah.
I heard actual crickets outside. That was really good. That was pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's warm today, so all the flies have entered because I leave the door open for my cat because I'm not a doorman, and so I don't have a cat flap either. So send money now, and I'll try and persuade the landlord to put a cat flap in. Great radio.
Yeah, always, eat and drink into my
yeah, it's really. I'm going to get some Venus flytraps because I saw a friend of mine going, I've never had problems like, why didn't I'm 47 and I didn't think of that? Like, so when I get out of lockdown in 2024, I'll be able to go to Bunnings and buy it. And those flies, I'm going to have the healthiest plants ever because the amount of flies are coming going, I can smell food.
That's the worst thing. Bunnings is not open anyway. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do nothing.
No, it's like, being a hermit for 7 years, and it's that rebellious Pisces in me. It's like, you can't do this. Well, now I wanna.
now that I'm not able to, I really actually want to go out there and play baseball. And and
could I play the piano? Yes. Well, I couldn't before. Yeah. Great lines from The Simpsons. And thank you for sharing that photo, Cortek. I have seen that where three cat and it almost looks like the yin and yang. Like it's a hurricane. And I'm Public Enemy. I still follow them on Instagram, and they shared of please send all your thoughts to Louisiana. But if you send but you can send send your prayers to all states, and then see how that stupid that sounds. And I was so tempted to write back, yeah, but if the hurricane goes to Florida, do we still pray for Louisiana? And by the way, California's on fire. So, your Black Lives Matter sucks, racists. But I can't be asked dealing with all that stuff anymore. That's like we need content for the show. Well, I can complain about how tired I am. That's going to get 2 hours worth.
That's fun.
Could you do that for 2 hours?
No, I'll get tired. I'm tired. Back to you. So it's when this show started was following the news, figuring out what Team Dark's doing, but now it's like they're losing. Like, who cares? I'm evolving here, but at the same time, not allowed to. You got to be jabbed, and I'm actually part of the control group. That's my stance at the moment.
Yeah.
With the but it's just it's not defeatism, but there's a hint of like you're not going to change heart and minds because people are set in their ways. Like we would be I've seen people refer to us as that we're in a cult. Like, well, no, you are, because you're following the government blindly. Like even Antifa, and we have Antifa here in Australia, but they're not doing anything. It's like we're following the government. Yay! Even in the United States as well, they only follow whatever the left wants. They're not actually fighting fascism, because Joe Biden kind of is a bit fascistic.
He's definitely been a bit more of a warmonger.
Well, yeah. He praised the U.S. military for evacuating from Afghanistan. You left how many people there?
How many $1 billion worth of equipment? 65 billion or something?
83, I believe. Mind you, Afghanistan they were spending $98 billion a month, so that's like $3.3 billion a day. So nothing sus there.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
I mean that's with the military accounting,
Well, if you remember, on September the 10th, 2001, Rumsfeld said, we've mislaid $2.4 trillion. And I'm thinking, what, down the back of a couch? How big's this couch?
Again?
Again, yeah. And then something happened in New York and we forgot about it. Now, someone who is, I don't know, has he been to New York? Let's find out. We've been joined by Aust Paul. How are you, Paul? You're muted, Paul. Oh, there's a fly in here as well. Swine. There we go.
No, no New York for me. No. I've been to Vancouver. I've been to Hawaii, but not New York.
That sounds like a song. I've been to Vancouver,
New
I've
York,
But not New York. Yeah. But Hawaii.
I've been to Venus.
With
I've been to
Yows.
Venus. I've been to Mars,
sorry.
but I've never been to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, we're Yowies in Hawaii, not Howies, like they call us. But yeah, we have our own nickname. Yeah.
Well, everyone has nicknames. Like, for some strange reason, Queenslanders calls people in New South Wales and Victoria Mexicans because we're south of the border. And so I punched them.
Yeah.
Like, really? Does that mean you're Canadians? Like,
We call Queenslanders idiots.
Yes and no. Like, there is an idea of they want to split the state into half and have far north, North Queensland, because it's a big state, and people in Brisbane, it's like, oh, people in Townsville should do what we're doing, and you get to Townsville, it's like, no, no, it's way too hot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But no one thinks anyone else in Australia is idiots. But it's a different lifestyle up there, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Watch your dogs out for crocodiles, mate. Yeah, there's a couple of big crocs up there. She'll take a little healer, no problem. What? Yeah, she took down a couple of cows a couple of days ago, mate, and 4 sheep a couple of weeks.
Is that a Curry impersonation?
No, it's like, thank you, officer.
No, mate, this is Dave Rose.
Yeah,
the indigenous.
Yeah, thank you. I have found out that word is on the naughty list now, because no, I'm not having a go at you. I'm just pointing out someone actually asked the First Nations, like, yeah, nah, stop calling, because it's been used, and so it's just an abbreviation of Aboriginal, which is just a scientific term. So yeah,
it's not picking on anybody. It's
but out of respect. We try, you don't want to upset an Aboriginal, let's be fair. Well, you don't want to upset anyone, really, because everyone's about to burst with, that hint of revolution's in the air again. But what will the Australian Revolution be? Oh, Khan.
All right. It'll be
and that was the great Australian Revolution of 2022. Khan, all right. Yeah, that'll be
it's the classic, but in a legislative process.
What's interesting about a revolution is that it comes from Nicholas Copernicus. And he described a revolution, and you'd go around. And a revolution is planetary. You go around the sun or whatever.
Yeah, you revolve around. Yeah, that's
so you go back to the place where you started from.
Are you saying it should be a new term, because actually you wouldn't go anywhere if you had a revolution?
Right, exactly. So I'm saying you start. Yeah, right. It's very misleading in a way.
I'll put revolution into a sentence for you. Australia started out as a penal colony. We went to freedom and then completed the revolution and gone back to a penal colony.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I actually, if you get a birthday message from me, I don't say happy birthday. I basically say happy rotation of the sun, because that's what happens. Now, obviously, because the sun's moving, you're not in the same space. We're kind of corkscrewing through the galaxy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because the sun moves around the Earth, which I didn't realize, which is fun.
Yeah, for a man who knows a lot about Carl Sagan, I think you're wrong. I didn't, Carl. No. You're billions and billions off.
Yes, perhaps you are right.
Well, since we do live in a divine hologram, so you do have free will and you create your reality. So yeah, I'm sure the sun does go around your Earth.
Everything goes around just me, I think, and that's that's the universe we live in. So
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Well, see, like I'm the center of my universe, you're the center of your universe, and the joy of creation is we interact and then go to war over it. It's like, the French and the English. We have God on our side. So do we. I'm sure God's like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, but Monty, the reasons why we go to war is we're too drunk at the time, and then we forget about going to war.
I thought it'd be a bit of an adventure.
Well, yeah,
Well,
we sort of
and then we
stopped
sober
wars.
up, and then we realised, nah, bugger this for an idea. Let's go back home.
Yeah, I don't like the sand getting in everywhere. Let's go home. All right, yeah. But a lot of, apart from defending Australia from the Japanese in World War II, we've sort of gone over and tried to stop most of the wars because of Biden and the military-industrial complex from the United States. I think we called Vietnam a draw, and we'll call Afghanistan a draw as well.
I call it a painting.
Yeah, a loss. I think that's the word you're looking at.
Loss.
Yeah, because people have been pointing at Biden like, "Oh, we've finished the war." It's like, yeah, and you lost, you idiot.
Well, we decimated a country. Like, we've decimated a country. The thing is like, I was looking this week at, you want to talk about news and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's Biden pulling out of Afghanistan. Here's also Biden drone striking families and weddings and stuff and kids.
Yeah, he thinks he's Obama, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he's trying to live up. But so, is he a warmonger? Is he not? It's like, but the thing is you look closer at what he's pulling out.
No, we all know who he is, though. He's a teleprompter reader, and he shouldn't answer these questions to certain people. And if he doesn't answer them ask him in the right direction, his handlers will tell him off.
Yeah,
I just like to see the person with their hand up his bum, getting his mouth to talk on camera.
Yeah. Can I make it actually coherent, please? At least get Jeff Dunham around to pull his strings.
Jeff Dunham, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's at his big mansion because he is successful. He plays to big crowds. He's worked at it. He's got multiple DVDs. I'm sure he's just watching Biden going, that guy's stealing my bit. The bastard. Get my lawyer on the phone.
He does seem very tired anyway, is what I took.
I did see somewhere actually say Biden, he needs a rest, so he's going to go home to Wilmington because, obviously he needs his own bed. Like, really? Like, granddad's tired. Maybe he shouldn't be the leader of the free world.
It's one of those help you stand up beds. Yeah, take about 15 minutes just to help you stand up.
Yeah, well,
and the fake jacket and the tie. Yeah, yes, no, I'm just up, taking with a blue screen behind my bed. It's blue sheets, actually.
It's a little bit silly to really. It's really a bit silly to waste your time having a go at these figureheads. So it really is.
Well, it's really too easy. A lot of people are waking up that wouldn't care. It's like, oh, he's better than Trump. Now it's like, my God, what have we done? As well as, but there's still a small group that are following the party line. Like, I stand with Joe Biden. It's like, why? So you can hold him up? Weekend at Biden's. It's a great film.
Just in case he falls down.
Mm-hmm,
At least President Obama had a huge coming out party, right? And where was Biden? Sleeping.
Yeah, where's Joe? Oh, he's in the guest house, rugged up, with his Horlicks and having a quiet mug of cocoa just before he goes. But it's 4 p.m. I know he stayed up that late.
There was a lot of. I reckon the car park for the boats was bigger than the car park for the cars. There's a lot of people arriving under cover of darkness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great advertisement for climate change. Of this is how we're killing the planet, ladies and gentlemen. It's just it's definitely clown world, but even clowns are like, no, really, it's worse. It's so worse. Leave me alone.
I think it'd be quite depressing to be a clown these days. Everyone hates them.
Pennywise is like, this is great.
Actually, I heard it was over there at Obama's party.
Pennywise.
Come on, that's funny. Yeah.
Clowns are funny now. You heard it here first. Beware the grease-painted ones. Yeah. I'm just tired. So I'll try not to do 2 hours of, let's go. However, sometimes the comedy comes out because the buffers aren't off and I make mistakes and I'll just get silly and say, porcupine. I liked Robin Williams'
So-
joke about a porcupine. The best way of describing Hollywood is like a porcupine, a male porcupine. It's 100 pricks surrounding an asshole
Oh,
and a small penis. So,
I call that Ron Jeremy's house. Hello.
and hasn't he done well for himself?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's why they call him Hedgehog.
Oh well, I'm sure he'll be called many things when he gets to jail.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Did he get arrested for something?
Sweetie.
Yeah, multiple sexual abuse and rape and all that fun stuff.
What he does, though.
Yeah.
His job.
Yeah, he gets
No. There's consent. His job has consent.
Oh,
What
there was
he
no
did-
cameras rolling.
Yeah, there's no or consent. There's an issue there. Like,
Well, that's different.
yeah, and
That's not on Ron.
no.
They
Yes.
do wrong.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't.
do Ron.
Don't. Oh, unless you get to jail, and then he'll be done. Like, yeah.
Ooh.
That's the done Ron.
Oh, poor Ron.
Ron.
On a run.
What's your name, Ron? That's what I'll call you from now on. I'll call you Ron, because once the light goes out, you're mine.
So first day of school tomorrow for me, boys.
Ooh, are you
Oh.
teaching, or are you learning, or
No, I'm
is your,
starting kindergarten.
or is that okay?
I was about to say, clown school?
All right, I'll go to clown college.
Yeah.
Well, it's either that or the intervention order's been lifted.
It's gonna be
No.
a crazy year, though. Honestly.
What is it? What are you going to do? We have no idea.
What-
Teach.
I-
I'm a teacher.
Ooh,
cool.
Kids. Yeah.
What,
middle
what year?
school.
What
Middle
year is that?
In the United States, it's like grade 5 and above.
Ah, troublemakers.
Oh,
Ah,
there's a little trouble.
Young
there.
You're in
adults.
deep hell. You're in
Yeah.
deep
Pretty
hell.
cool, though.
I
It's like
think
my
that's.
old-
I think that's a great age. They're not quite teenage yet. There's still. You still have some time to give them some good advice.
Yeah. I
And
would
then a
They
copy of
still
the
might.
Hobbit.
They still might listen to it.
Yeah, make
My
them.
my advice is use a balloon every now and again and just pop it when they're not expecting it.
At clown school,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna do that.
That'll bring their attention back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with all the masks and the perspex and everything, you got to 3 Pepsis, yes, partial credit.
Pepsi.
Yeah, Pepsi.
Hey, Brandon, what is the legislation where you are or where you're teaching regarding whether children have to wear masks, whether they have to wear them, exercising, all that kind of stuff? What's the deal over there?
It's 3 foot distance unless you're outside, and then you have to wear a mask inside, but not outside. So lots of the classes are being taught outside, which is cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Actually, kind of. So there are little loopholes to kind of teachers are doing the best they can to sort of get around.
Make
that's
yeah.
one thing that's sort of finally been brought up in the media here, because the pushback has started where our misleaders, no one cares, and mental health is going through the roof. There's statistics coming out in one day. The suicide prevention hotline got over 3,000 phone calls in one day, and it's been going 20 or 30 years. It's the highest number that's got. Self-harm injuries have gone through the roof, suicide, and it's getting close. Teenagers and even just I've seen footage of it's cute and depressing at the same time, where a toddler, maybe 18 months old, is using everything as a hand sanitizer, where they tap it and then wash their hands and then walk off and tap it and wash it, because that's all they're known.
Yeah, just watching behavior and mimicking it.
Yeah, and so you've got
that's all right. They won't remember that in a couple of years.
Oh, well, it went viral on the internet, but yeah, you are right.
Okay, they will.
Yeah.
It's like the Nirvana baby trying to sue.
They're finally real. Maybe the lockdowns may have a mental health issue. And like, you think, Like, it's 18 months in and it doesn't look like it's going to end because, all right, let's play the what if game, not watch the Marvel movie, the TV show What If, where that's hilarious. It's like, oh, they're all in canon. You know it's a different timeline, you idiots. Anyway.
Back on track.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone gets vaccinated, they'll still do lockdowns because they're idiots, because they go by cases. However, there is rumblings where now they're saying, oh, it looks like we'll have to live with COVID. And it's like, how many businesses collapsed? How many people, their mental illness is just peaking with anxiety and depression? And my friend that I tell has 11 friends commit suicide in the 18 months. It's up to 12 now, where we lost another one in the last couple of weeks. And I'm trying to think of a joke to come out of that hole.
It's not funny at all.
No, just piss on the show, why don't you? And who knows the ramifications of doing all this? Where, I mean, I'm a hermit and I'm feeling it. So, you know,
Is the
people
problem...
If people actually, very social people that, you know, they go out. A lot of people have to deal with themselves because they didn't have the distraction of work last year. And depending on how they dealt with it, they're still dealing with it now. And I mean, there's jokes of like, I'd rather see a press conference from coronavirus than from the government at this point, as well as you got the great divide where the bootlickers. I'm not really into causing confrontation. Start day drinking. Hey, I love you. However, we need to kill all the anti-vaxxers. Like, the government has twisted it where we're being harsh and tyrannical on its medical martial law and its house arrest, and it's the unvaccinated that are the problem. And so instead of the government doing it and actually dealing with health, they're causing a mass divide, and they've got a scapegoat, basically, which is the unvaxxed. And so they'll have this 2-tier level of stuff where I won't be able to go into a supermarket. I'll have to buy stuff online and blah, blah. Meanwhile, the cases will still be going up because even if you are vaccinated, you still get it and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, yeah. I'll stop talking now. I just like, I don't want to dig anymore. Let's make base camp here.
It just seems like there's no culpability in the government because there'll be a fresh face to blame, with the next problem.
Well, they cannot actually point out that they made a mistake, or if they do, it's just slipped in. Excuse me. The press conference for Victoria today went over 3 hours.
A lot of questions.
I guess I didn't watch it because they're still talking, and I'm sure there was. But during the heady days of last year here in Victoria, they had you'll be seeing it here in New South Wales. Every day they do a press conference and they do it. Eventually, if you're listening to a boring prat, you don't care anymore. And so 3 hours of them droning on of how, every Victorian's doing their best. Like, no one cares. They would let's have the disease go through society, and whoever's standing at the end, cool.
Yeah, we knew you'd get to the bit where it's just another sales ad, another late night shopping channel ad with Fauci in his little white coat selling the product. Just another, we know you get a flip-flop. We know it's just another kind of booster for pharma sales. So Let's get to the bit where, we got to the bit now where you say you're gonna try it on every year, so your investors can profit every year. Let's just get to the bit where we know you fucked up, because everyone knows you fucked up. And
fluffed. He said fluffed, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no coming back from the dangerous incompetence that the system shows. It's its main game plan.
No accountability. They can't point out they made a mistake. They can't lose face because
they've lost it.
I know. That's the thing where like, we could do that. Okay, yeah. Now apparently the way they're wording it is, I think playgrounds are open on Friday, here in Victoria. Like, oh, thanks, Governor, because it just feels like a open. Palestinians feel better about their situation.
We feel for you over there in Sydney and Victoria.
Ahmed, our children were nearly bombed yesterday. At least we don't live in Melbourne. Yes.
No, this is very, very, very horrible. In Melbourne, this is very not good. But in our place of Afghanistan, we have no problem with the women no more. They are under our control.
Yeah, sorry. So like, oh, someone's skirting the line with that one. The ball nearly went out of bounds there, but he was able to bring it back in and pass it off.
And a lot of tracer rounds going off into the air last night or the night before. I saw some footage over Kabul or something, and everyone's just got all the equipment or whatever, and the tracer rounds are going off in the air. It's a great fireworks show.
I mean, as I said earlier, just before, there are people. I stand with Joe Biden, and Joe's there. Like, we did well done, military. You gave $80 billion worth of equipment to terrorists, and the
2020. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
2020 was the biggest kind of psyop for everyone, and if it wasn't everyone's first psyop, they would see it as people saying, "Oh, Orange Man bad," and the reason why everyone voted for Trump was really Clinton bad, basically. And
and also, if I may, very quickly, Donald Trump was different from anyone else. He was sort of like the Republican version of Obama, if I can, very loosely.
He wasn't Clinton, and I think a lot of people go, well, Biden's not Trump, so what's are they saying over there? Okay, well, it's a safe bet.
81 million votes. Where are those voters now?
Yeah, where's all the hubbub?
There was an MA, a fight of some sort. MA, like a UFA, or UFC in New York, and the fight. I think it was at the end of the match, and they completed it well because both the fighters were standing upright and talking coherently. But just another thing, and spends 30 seconds just insulting Joe Biden for all the stuff he's done. Like, have you seen this story? They left the K9 Corps in Afghanistan.
All this stuff that they left, is there any kind of handover process at all? Like, is there a handover process? Like, I've heard there is. I've heard they kept the keys. I've heard it was left, as a gift. I'm not sure what's true. I don't know. Who knows?
But for animal lovers, they're extremely enraged because there's like about 20 dogs. They've been saved. They're being saved. So, but I mean, just really like, and then you had Hillary Clinton once tweeted, "Never trust a man that you wouldn't let your dog hang out with," and it's like, ooh, that aged badly because you left him there. It got to the point. Glenn Beck actually sent over a plane to try and get Americans out of Afghanistan. Not Bezos, not Elon Musk. Glenn Beck.
He wasn't charging people per seat, was he?
No. Glenn Beck's quite nice now. He stopped drinking the Diet Coke. He does look like Colonel Sanders. He acknowledges that. But he's one of those, like, even Bill Maher has started going, okay, something's extremely wrong here. Where, the insanity that's put forward, like the woke left and the divide, where, I mean, you've got extremists everywhere. But I think this, like, America's full of white supremacists. Probably about 200 people. That's it.
Yeah.
In over 300 million people in the United States, there's 200 people in a basement going, "Oh, we're winning." Really? It's
2020 was the biggest psyop ever, and it continued on. And
it's still going now.
And more and more people, I think, have to be going, well, actually, this doesn't add up now. I'm looking back on it, and all this news is coming out where people lost their livelihoods, and YouTube channels for saying what is being said as common knowledge now.
Well, it's interesting. I'll be referring to the Tim Pool show because they made a lot of good points. Go watch it if it floats your boat. However, Australia as a whole, sort of like, oh, we'll put up with it then, and there's no real pushback. The thing is, obviously, here, if you get you push back, you get arrested and thrown in jail because they're clamping down hard because, the wrong thing. However, in the United States, you have blue and red states where Texas and Florida are basically open and living the dream, and yet New York is basically Hungary in World War II, where it's total fascism, where
it's becoming Escape from New Yorkish.
Yeah, and like we've talked about it on here on Revolution Radio. Where would you go? Like, well, I don't know. Like, I thought Australia was good, but then after 2 hours of going, what the government's doing. The latest thing for the government is a cyber warfare bill actually went through in the last couple of days, and the Australian government can go into your phone and change messages or delete messages or evidence.
Yep.
Like,
it's
what could possibly go wrong?
It's I don't know. Let's have a creative challenge now that you are, you're the person responsible for trying to say this is what we're going to do, and we need this power. What can you come up with to try and justify that kind of power? The power to go into anyone else's computer in the public, in the Australian public, add, modify, or delete a file on their program, on their computer.
I'll give you an example while we're thinking, gentlemen, we're thinking about it. There was a plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer, and out of the 15 men arrested, 12 of them were FBI informants.
I saw that. It reminds me of that meme where someone, some people who were, FBI or something, broke into someone who was CIA running a drug thing, and they both.
Yeah, 2 undercover squads. An undercover police squad that was selling drugs. Arrested the undercover police squad that were trying to buy drugs to, who would arrest
only
who?
in America, Yeah, only in
America.
I think it could happen anyway.
No, but we've got the right of rights. No, but we've got the right of rights, and then
So this new thing is the Identify and Disrupt bill.
Yeah.
The bill provides 3 new warrants, data disruption warrants, which allow the AFP and ACIC the ability to add, copy, delete, or alter files on a computer or device, so as to frustrate the commission of a crime, as if that wouldn't be abused. The next one is networked activity warrants, which allow agencies to collect intelligence on serious activity. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, I mean, account and the third one is account takeover warrants, which provide agencies with the ability to take over a person's online account through the modification of data through the purposes of gathering evidence to further a criminal investigation. This is available where there's reasonable suspicion that one or more relevant offences are being or about to be or likely to be, like future crime or whatever that stupid Tom Cruise movie was. Thought crime about to be committed.
Minority Report. Yeah.
Minority Report. Yeah.
It's a good film. It's worth watching again. And like, oh. That seems very familiar. Also, on Facebook, people have been getting messages of like, have you seen or talked to someone that is preparing? So they're going after the preppers. It's like, what? Honestly, yeah, it's like we need a new word. The insanity continues. Clown world. It's just getting ridiculous. Where it's just going to get worse. And I don't know. Are they wearing us down to just accept that we'll live in a one world order with a boot face on it? Yeah, it's like, can you just do something?
I think it's a last ditch stand by a bunch of people with failing resources and failing financial resources to to try and hold on to things and just go for broke, because otherwise there's not going to be any other chance. Because after this and after the last election, politics as we know it is dead. Anyone thinking they can get any kind of justice or anything from current systems seems deluded. It just needs a total overhaul. I don't know how we do it, but it seems constantly that everyone who tries to get into these systems to make good change, from a positive point of view, just chewed up and
spat out. Yeah. Peter Garrett was a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
He was basically supporting the Greens Party for a decade, and then went into politics. So, I'm going into Labor, and everyone's like, what? But found out that his parents are Labor, and then they just used him as a scapegoat because he was known, obviously.
He's a celebrity or whatever. Yeah, that's all he's used as.
Yeah, and it's like nothing gets done. As well as we're still part of the Commonwealth, so the Queen, we're independent from the Queen. Then why do all the politicians make an oath towards the Queen, to the Governor General, who's the representative of the Queen, and anything the Queen doesn't want, it won't happen. I mean, she fired Whitlam in the 1975, which is interesting. The only thing about that is it's in the Constitution. So instead of changing the Constitution, they stopped teaching school kids that there's a Constitution.
That's state of affairs.
Yeah. So, it's a shit show still, and it's just going to get nuttier. It's just really annoying where I just want to be left alone. Another point they brought up on the Timcast was that Australians, the ones that want to be left alone and are against the government, like in not anarchist but anti-authoritarian, the rest of the public look, what are you doing? Just get along. I'm like, really?
It just went really, really pro-government. Quite quickly, didn't it? I don't
punk rock, the subgenre of music, punk rock. The amount of punk guys that's like, oh no, we have to follow the. What have you been doing for the last 40 years? You've been rallying against the establishment, and then all of a sudden, oh no, we have to do that. We're saving lives. Are you?
Are you just out for a cheap bit of publicity?
Oh well, there was a gig in Florida where if you're unvaccinated, the tickets were $1,000 US. It's like, that's so punk rock. Wow.
Sad.
Oh, well, so we're coming up to the break, and I think we did well, chaps. It was 52 minutes of waffle, and there was last hint of information, so I'm not firing on all cylinders. I'm sort of on a hill, and I've taken the handbrake off, but we're still moving. That's the main thing.
Is there a break this week? That'd be cool.
Well, yeah, let's find out. Place your bets. No, we've got another 4 minutes. 3 minutes. Let's just
and we have 2 minutes left, and yes, and we got 1 minute, 30 seconds in.
How was Planet Collingwood? Oh, it was brilliant. Halfway, we counted down a clock.
I love that countdown bit. I love that every week. It's my favourite bit.
Remember Sesame Street, where they had that animation of the pinball with all the numbers.
I love that bit. Really, I honestly really like. Yeah, I honestly love
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. It's like, why stop at 12? Yeah, why stop at 12? What's wrong with 13?
Why have 12 months came out instead of 13?
That came out. No, that came out after the and then it went through another section. Then it went 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Well, there you go.
Unless if you heard.
I don't believe it.
Frank Oz, who created.
I'm old enough to say. So's Monty, actually.
You're old enough to say so's Monty, actually. Well, good for you.
Yeah, very,
very
similar ages. We're born in the same year, so we've seen the same stuff.
Well, yeah. We're from the 20th century, ladies and gentlemen. Just pointing that out there. Frank Oz, who worked with Jim Henson and part of the Muppets and did Yoda in the Star Wars films. He hasn't worked for Sesame Street or the Muppets for at least a decade, because Disney won't hire him because he won't follow orders, as well as the Muppets today don't have that same spark, that anti-authoritarianism against the establishment. What made the Muppets good, and it
Coolness.
exactly. They're cool. The Muppets weren't trying to take down society; they were there to make people enjoy life. And it just silliness, half the stuff. You can still watch old. I used to have
Sounds
season
like a man
one.
with artistic integrity.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and so he's basically said that it's just, the world's changing. It's like, but the nutters are in charge, which it's like, I know. I get the feeling spiritually, it's like you're gonna have a lot of people. The sleeping majority is gonna stand up and go, right, come here.
In their sleep, collectively.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the amount of stuff, like the censorship and everything else like that. If you talk to people about the stolen election, you're just one of those blah 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 blah. It's like, okay. Now, for hint for people, if you do talk to people about, it looks like the election was stolen. Oh, how can you say that? Blah blah blah. Skip to the end and just say, well, can we double check the results? No. Well, there's one red flag there. Yeah, because they did the audit in Arizona, and before, I don't know if that actually has been completed, but they did like a preliminary stuff, and they just went, okay, we found this, and this. Apparently, there was 110% voter turnout.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
Yeah,
Nothing
sus.
Nothing sus there.
I'm betting on no break at this point.
Yeah, we're breakless. So there you go. You're listening to Revolution Radio, Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. We usually have a break here, so at some point I may have to run to the bathroom because I have to relieve myself.
Should we try and redo the ads ourselves?
Can you remember them? They got Bobby McGee on the lone highway. What did Bobby do? Not Bobby. Not Bobby.
You got me talking about stuff and cats.
A jihad.
Interesting.
That's about it.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
cats.
This is Jihad Radio, working from...
It's uncanny. It's uncanny. It's like listening to a break.
Hey, everybody, it's
Yes.
Barbara Lindsay and the Cosmic Oracle. Join me every... whatever.
I was just doing background music.
Yeah.
Okay, tag team, toilet runs.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that are we alluding to that we need new breaks? Because
I've got a feeling in my pants.
well, keep it there, you
Ooh.
pervert.
That could be a little bit wrong.
It's not a burning feeling. It's okay.
Yes. The joys of dating in lockdown. Oh, that's one things of once we hit 70% vaccinated of the adult population of Victoria, the travel restriction will go from 5 kilometres to 10 kilometres. I'm like, oh, thank you, Master. Thank you so much.
You guys are gonna have to do better than that.
I'm going to have to see me mum that's over 250 k's away, Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, the Victorian police are very delightful. Like they pepper sprayed they tackled a woman to the ground because she was medically exempt for wearing a mask.
Yeah, that's
they don't
cool.
care. Even in Canada, it's like vaccine passports for everyone, including the people that medically can't have a vaccine because it'll kill them.
That makes sense.
They smell barbecue chicken and they come in the back gate and suss us out.
What?
And that's, yeah, they actually come in.
Excuse me, driver. Are you cooking chicken?
No.
I smell
In the backyard, having a chicken and talking to a couple of friends. Well, one, 3 of us live here and one's my nephew. So we're doing really, really bad stuff, I'm
It's
pretty
making me
sure.
feel like barbecue something right now.
You've been out conversing again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
With
do
my
you
nephew
think-
dropped.
do you
Yeah,
think that's the
and
main
mind
thing?
you, he was dropping off stuff from, a shopping centre.
Do you know
Yeah.
the main thing? The main thing a flailing system is trying to avoid people just talking to each other and say, well, geez, is there a problem right now? Well, it could be. Geez, should we talk about it? What's wrong? What do you think's wrong? We got to stop that. We got to keep people apart. It's very quick.
You can't allow people to, share information. Someone who likes to share information via code. We've been joined by a very small horse. Pony, are you there, sir?
Bam! Check it out. Oh, I had to join in. Voice is good, man. You're running the commercials, man. I was loving it. Keep going.
Yeah. You got one of the commercials? We can still go if you got a bit of input, if you can remember one of them.
I just started with one. Bam! Check it out.
Oh, no.
That's it.
Yeah, before the talking points get aired. And I recently just watched. Someone recommended Space Jam: A New Legacy. Like, all right, and yeah, it's a popcorn movie. It's dumb in bits. I found it. I found it interesting because it's it's very ghetto, and I didn't see a white person.
Is it not dumb in bits at all?
I'm sorry, what?
Wait, are there any good bits?
Yeah. If I tell you, I'll ruin the joke. But I was laughing for 5. I actually laughed out loud 5 minutes into the film, and a good bit of slapstick. LeBron James can't act, but he did well. Like he did his level of acting, mind you. I'm going to watch the Jordan one today or tomorrow, the original one, and there's a great joke about I found Michael Jordan. And then the joke happens, so you have to watch it. It's worth watching once because you see cartoon characters you haven't seen forever, and they're funny, like Daffy and Sylvester. No Pepe Le Pew because he was Me Too'd. Like, really?
He was a little rapey.
Well, but he wasn't. He's not a hero though. Like, you laughed at him and you knew he was pathetic.
Yeah.
Do you know any kids like, I want to be Bugs Bunny. I want to be Elmer Thumb. Yeah, I want to be Sylvester. I don't remember. Everyone was like, I'm going to be Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah.
What, French?
Anyone who did want to be Pepe Le Pew turned out a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to go find the teacher in charge and
what cartoon character do you want to be, little Billy? I want to be Pepe Le Pew. Okay, mark that down to the authority.
That's going on a permanent record. Keep your eye on this one. He's a bit of grab ass.
Show me your foot, teacher.
Yeah. But I also watched the Harry Potter movies, and if that floats your boat, watch them again. They're quite good. 8 movies. I thought the first part of the Deadly Hollows, which is the last book, I'm like, they spent an hour and a half in a tent. It's only 20 minutes. So like, okay. And the storytelling in it is great, and I enjoyed it a lot. I also watched all the Transformer movies as well.
You got through those?
Yeah, it's like, how the hell did they get Anthony Hopkins in the last one?
Money.
Did they?
Yeah. It's called The Last Night.
I'd say money in and not a complex script.
Mind you, well, Anthony's not a bit loopy, but he seems to be enjoying his life because a couple of videos of him listening to death metal have gone viral, which is kind of interesting to watch.
What's he doing to it? He obviously doesn't have hair he can swing around.
He's sort of doing a one-man mosh, and he's smiling, and his eyes are really wild, and it's like, ooh, someone's been into the schnapps.
Yeah.
Hello, Clarice.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of good. And I try to watch The Matrix, but I watched all the special features. So I'm going to watch that again just to have a... Because apparently they're making Matrix 4 called Matrix...
Again.
Yeah, not Revolutions. Not Reincarnation. What is Resurrections?
Rehashed.
Yeah, you rehashed. And one of the Wachowski beings...
People.
Yeah. is doing it, and Trinity and Neo are back. So.
Have they both melded into one being now?
No. They made a lot of money, and they both transitioned, but only one came back for the latest film.
If only one's doing the film, what's the other one doing? Have they done something weird, like
waiting for their check?
Their consciousness with a computer or something?
Oh, who knows? So it'll be interesting to see what the Matrix, where the story goes and how it'll fit into consciousness. Because then when that movie came out, it changed a lot of things just in the subgenre of sci-fi, the way that the movie was made, but all the spiritual stuff and everything else like that. And it influenced comic book films as well, because a third of it is basically a comic book with a lot of the shots and everything. So.
The other one's developing jet skis.
Is he? Is it what I'd say? What a dude! But is he a guy or a girl? I can't tell.
No, she's a lady now.
They both went to ladies, didn't they?
Yes.
Well, one of those fish, they can just change whenever.
Carp.
What are you saying that carpet is not made out of carp?
They're super mysterious and spiritual beings, the carp.
Which Chowski?
I saw a thing on Twitter where it was like, name another film that had a payphone in it. Like,
Superman.
And
yeah.
Matt Kaddish. There's lots, but Matt Kaddish actually said, there's a whole movie with Colin Farrell stuck in one of them. I think it was called Phone Booth. I'm going to start a discussion. It's like, it didn't really work out the way that you thought it would go. It's like when I see stand-up
budget film.
Well, of course it is. Yeah, hackers. There's a lot of them. The Superman with
Bill and Ted.
Mr. Reeves. What's his Christopher Reeves? Oh, Bill and Ted 1, 2, and 3.
Every movie before 1960.
yeah. I mean, you could even add a stretch Doctor Who.
Definitely the first bunch.
Ultimate.
Yeah, it's a call box.
Because the TARDIS is a phone box.
Yeah,
it's
call
a
box,
phone box.
Yeah, because the Bobbies, which is a nickname for the police in the UK, they didn't have a lot of cars or anything, and so they had these little kiosks all around, and so they would it was like a mini jail. So if they arrested a drunk, they could hide them in there and all that type of stuff, and you could free call, but they were phased out by I think the late 60s, and the only reason people know about it is because of Doctor Who.
And there might be still people alive from back then too.
Well, it is 60 years ago, so yeah, maybe. I'm sure a photograph was taken.
The world is ruled by Doctor Who. Damn you, man.
Yeah, that's terrible as well. Wokeism. Is there a cure?
Yeah, time heals all wounds.
Well, it's a Doctor Who saying. Time will tell. It always does. Well, thank you, Mr. Travel Through Time.
No, I am time over here. I will tell you.
I am Kronos, the god of time. Oh, I'm late. Excuse me. Just like there's that fridge meme, like, fridges from the 1970s. I will outlast your family. I am time itself.
I saw that.
Yeah, someone changed it. And then someone changed it to Australia, where it's fridges in the 1980s. It's the same one. You've changed a number. However, I shared that meme, and I got a lot of people say in Wisconsin, it's like, I still have one it's our beer fridge in the garage.
Yeah.
Because it still runs, obviously, which makes the joke work. So, Pony, how are you dealing with your lockdown? Were you shocked by the announcements? Do you know about the announcements? Do you care about the announcements?
Just makes me angry, like everyone else.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I shared on Facebook, Victoria, the Garden State. Yeah, it's now the fascist state.
That clip you put together, that must have been done by AI or someone who had a lot of time to edit that. So.
Oh, yes, Cortek. Yeah, Cortek's off to the smallest room in the house. And yeah, it's if you remember, not Pauline Hanson, the comedian, Pauline,
Shopping trolley, just gone.
Yeah. It's even the band Ministry have done that word chopping up with George Bush Jr. And yeah, if you get the right words, you can put it all together and get on to say other things.
Yeah, someone made a hit song back in the day. My shopping trolley just murdered.
Yeah, that's the one. I can't remember her name though. And I don't think anyone will tell me because it's not going to save the world. But it was a word play on Pauline Hanson.
Well, that food truck, that trucking thing went nowhere, basically, like the trucks. But she was out there in Queensland.
Yep. What I find interesting is...
Yes, she was.
Now, since I've got two Victorians on the call, you'll find this fascinating. I'm agreeing with Jeff Kennett half the time. This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen.
But anyway, funny about the gardening state. It's not the gardening state on our number plates anymore. They've just changed that. It's the people who guard the state.
Well, actually, it was the garden state, and then they changed it to the place to be or on the move, and there was that overlap. And a Canadian comic pointed this out. It's basically, which is it, Victoria? Is it the place to be or is it on the move? So,
or are we gardening on the move, or guarding on the move, or are we
the
garden
country?
Yeah, well, or the garden state, or guardian state. Yeah, how's that? The guardian state. Yeah.
Yes, new movie.
The guardian state of the because we're so precious. Because we're so precious, we need to be wrapped up in cotton wool. Yeah. So they can be our guardians.
That's how bad it is here. I actually want to move to Tasmania.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah, well, you missed the rush on that one.
I missed the boat, literally.
Yeah, maybe next year when we come out of lockdown and you fill out the right forms.
Yeah, I already threw the census in the bin. I ain't taking that shot. I got a death sentence either way because I'm not taking it. And if I take it, I believe it will kill me. So I can't win. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I think the issue that everyone is normal people are fighting for is you should be allowed to have your choice if you want to take it or not. Cortek.
So I just put a picky in my mouth as you started speaking. I thought this is a safe bet.
Yeah,
did you test it? Did it turn purple before you ate it?
Yeah, nah, yeah.
No. He's talking about confectionery, Pony.
So am I.
No, it's not one of those disco. Anyway, moving
on. You
on.
just laid it out. Oh,
it's a chocolate one.
Go to your phone. They can literally clone your phone. Yeah. Everybody's going to get kicked out of their house now that can't pay rent. They lifted that memorandum, and in America just recently too.
Yeah.
Man, this is bad.
Yeah, like
you're eating candy.
It doesn't make sense. Like the banks have no souls, as we know, and that's the issue. Like the landlord, like my real estate agent and the landlord, they understand what's going on because they're stuck in it too. But the bank goes, "Oh no, you have to pay this. You agreed to this." Yeah, but the government is so.
Hey Paul, you got a spare bedroom for me and Monty?
Oh no, I'll just go to my dad's. He's got a really big shed.
Well, the Indians had it. They set themselves up lovely because they live in groups, and so
and they get in trouble. And that's why in Melbourne, a lot of the western suburbs apparently have all this COVID stuff because all the families are meeting each other, and there's more blah. I don't think there was a couple of things, but in the west, in the east where I'm at. I don't think we're being touched by COVID that as much as what's happening in the West. And Paul, you're north. Any hot spots?
No, not around us. Not really. Maybe the hospital. But
did that come through?
No.
Sort of.
Probably.
But we didn't.
I heard it, but I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, I changed my text message to Millhouse. We're through the looking glass.
Oh, the reverse vampires, yes.
Yes.
Back in the day when The Simpsons was great. Oh, don't worry, laddie. I was fighting wolves when you're at your mother's teat. Now, where are the Scottish people? I mean, one
Scotland?
easy. One Indian comedian's got a poo removed from The Simpsons because he was upset, and yet none of the Scottish people have actually complained about Willie. And I'm actually 10 years older than Homer. I'm upset that Homer is, but you know what I mean. It's just, it's weird and ridiculous out there.
Write a letter, I reckon that'll solve it.
Yeah, but I can't be asked. I'm more upset about the writing skills of the scripts these days than actually being offended by Homer.
Which ones? Simpsons still?
Yeah, like the last 8 seasons.
Well, you know. It's like Madonna. It's like Madonna, you know. She has some good albums, you know, generally popular speaking early on. Didn't know when to let it go. Didn't know when to stop, you know, with Grace.
Yeah, well, Kylie's still doing work, and she looks very, very attractive for 50 to mid-50s.
Yeah, she still scrubs up okay, does she?
Yeah. Like Kate Beckinsale's about 45. She's looking very attractive as well.
She's good in latex.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now these days, when you see an attractive woman, you have to find out what their political leaning is, and most of the hot ones are mental.
Well, you got to ask.
Well, yeah, it's the triangle, you know, mental stable, emotionally stable, and attractive. It's always 2 out of 3.
Got to roll that dice, though.
Yes. and yet the fun part about it is most of them are my sisters, you know, and I've got nothing, you know, nothing to say.
What I find amusing is I would, you know, for the last 12 months whinge about dating in lockdown, and then well-meaning people would say, well, I'll date you. You live in Idaho. It's not going to work. Unless you're 5 kilometers from my house, no.
I had an internet romance on MySpace once with a girl from Moncton, BC.
Yeah, it sucked.
She was a poet. It was cool, but then it sucked.
Yeah, I mean,
it quickly sucked.
Yeah, well, because it's like I'd like to touch you, and no, I'm more of a hands-on type of guy.
Yeah, I've got real ones, you know, that actually, yeah.
Real one, what?
Well, I've got a lovely girlfriend, but yeah, at the moment we're too far away to see each other. So
I thought you were about to go into that song and dance routine about a lovely pair of coconuts. Bunch of coconuts.
No.
Look at them all in a row. What's wrong with you?
Something like that.
No, totally be AC/DC, big balls.
Oh, nice. Going into a whole lot of Rosie, something like that, just so you can blow up that massive blow up Rosie that they used to do with.
And then you go Thunderstruck or something, you know.
Yeah, finish it off with Thunderstruck.
Oh, yeah. Most Americans, well, some Americans would understand. The old ones.
AC/DC is known worldwide.
Although this is revolutionary.
The rest of the world got AC/DC in when, you know, 2000. 2010? I don't know. Late. But they're going, yeah, AC/DC, yeah. And then AC/DC.
No, AC/DC were huge in the 70s. Yeah. Then Back in Black came out, and they skyrocketed. Metallica supported them. That's how big AC/DC is.
Yeah, I grew up with them. They're great.
Yeah, of course. You're Australian. You have to. I do one better. I actually Angus and Malcolm's brother George was in a band called the Easy Beats. And
I know that name.
That's true.
Yeah, they did Friday on My Mind, and I like the Easy Beats. They were the first Australian international rock band, basically.
Yeah.
So they paved the way for AC/DC. And then George, when the Easy Beats broke up, he went into recording, and he recorded a third of the AC/DC records, which is handy when you got a family member. It's like, Mom, George,
I don't have any microphones.
But no, Angus needs to come play. But but he's not going on tour. But he's only 17. Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, but Mum.
No, he's just wearing a costume. He's 38.
I like that we got that The Saints proper.
That's how-
one of the
Yeah.
first early punk songs as well.
Yeah.
Do you know how he got his uniform?
I
His
think
sister
it's
goes.
yeah.
Yeah, his sister goes. That's cute when he used to come home with his big ass guitar, right? Because he's only 5 foot nothing, right? And they go, nah, that's cute. And his sister used to hand stitch most of his outfits from day one to in the 90s or something. Yeah. Oh, even now she has stitching in it, but yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell that it gives away sort of his age of being a schoolboy because he's got the satchel and the cap, and that was the uniform back then. And they don't really. Only private schools really have hats now, part of the school uniform, which blows away Americans. Like, what, you have to wear a uniform to school? It's like, yeah. During the 80s, every time we watched a movie, it's like, look, they're wearing clothes instead of a uniform.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I'm cool with AC/DC touring, with a replacement Angus looking like Angus.
Well,
it
is.
It feels a bit
It's his
funny.
cousin.
No.
I know
Replacing
they're kind of
Angus, they're
related.
replacing his older brother. Because Malcolm, there's 5.
Angus is dead.
There's 7 of them.
No. Malcolm passed away.
Yeah, Malcolm passed away. Who's the
rhythm guitarist,
main guitarist?
Rhythm. That's not main.
Yeah, and also wrote half of the songs to most of the songs.
Yeah, and he was an inspiration to most of the thrash guys as well.
He founded the band.
Right.
Yeah.
So Angus is still alive.
Yep, yeah. They're I think they just released an album, but because of lockdowns and stuff, they didn't do anything. And it's interesting music-wise, where bands are actually touring the United States at the moment, but they keep getting COVID and cancelling. Kiss, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons have both contracted COVID. Foo Fighters, they had to pull a couple of things, and Limp Bizkit, someone in their camp got COVID, so
who cares about them anyway?
They're very popular and they do well. Thank you very much. How dare you?
Anyway,
but they cancelled the rest of their tour, and so they're trying to get people are trying to get back to normal, but we still haven't figured out how to live with COVID. And with all the information out there, it's trying to push manure uphill with a toothpick.
And that was Monty's top 10 with pushing manure up a toothpick.
It's just a descriptive term.
Yes.
Business.
Yeah, well, come on, you've got to have a little bit of fun because we are talking around the world, and this is Freedom Screen.
Freedom Slips. How were your first day, sir? Freedom Slips.
Could be.
We're on Freedom Screen. As if you go into our Freedom Slips radio station, you can actually look up this hilarious bunch of people, and if you would like to come in, you can come in on Freedom Slips radio with Monty or myself.
Yeah, this is why we should have rehearsal.
This is why I usually tape the bumpers.
Yeah, maybe get a script.
Okay. No, I don't.
It's a good effort to try since they didn't play themselves.
Yeah, it's Freedom Screen, if it's still that one. So I'm not sure. We're all here.
Not sure if this... Do you qualify for bumpers anymore, or is everyone just asleep at this time of day? Everyone's just slowly falling to sleep over the web?
I'm sure someone just clicked the wrong thing and they disappeared, so...
All right.
I can adapt.
2 times in a row. Let's hope it's not a third. Third time would be a patent. Statisticians would call that a patent.
Hey, sounds like a conspiracy realist there.
All them
we got to pick on each other a little bit more to make it a bit more fun,
No, not really. I think the world's had enough of picking on other people because it's like an art form now.
That's too easy, isn't it? That's another just easy way to pass the time. Ideas.
Yeah, don't give someone their breaking point, Paul.
To quote the drummer from Pink Floyd, it got that bad, we nearly said something. That's sort of Australia, yeah.
The British will always kind of hang on to
the
something.
drum, but-
English,
almost
actually,
gonna
just
quote them.
English.
English.
English. Yeah, it's
There's self-deferential humor.
well, it's like, white people are bad. It's like, I think you're talking about the English, and it's not all the English, it's the upper crust of the English, all those inbred Germans that think they're royalty.
They're taking all the acting jobs in Hollywood. Jeez.
Everyone you meet on the street, everyone you're probably ever going to know, great people. Always.
What I
Generally always.
What I find amusing here in Australia, they refer to the Caucasian race as Aussies, which is basically code for British. Like, yeah, but you've got red hair. You're Scottish, Welsh, Irish, or English. Oh no, I'm Aussie.
Thoughts on a vampire playing a Batman?
I don't know. Apparently, he impregnated one of these co-stars in the Batmobile. That was good marketing.
Who are we talking about?
What's his name? Patterson. The guy from Twilight.
Yeah,
the guy
what
from
did
Twilight.
He got someone up the duff.
Yeah, apparently he was having sex with a co-star in the Batmobile, and she turned out to be pregnant. That's the scuttlebutt.
At the time.
Was she preloaded?
Or she is now.
I don't know. Scuttlebutt. I'm going to stick with this story even all night if I have to.
Was
So
it
is this
a
the
revolver
prequel to
or
Hell
was
Robin?
it a pistol?
It's called The Batman, and they're starting another universe. So it's not part of like the Ben Affleck ones. It's a total different timeline. It's that's the thing about Hollywood is like if a movie Terminator Genesis, that didn't do that well, so the trilogy that was planned was scrapped, and so Dark Fate was a reboot of the franchise.
I've only got one single thing to say about that type of behaviour. What a legend!
Well, he's rich, he's young,
And we shall name
attractive.
him Robin.
As if you were in that situation in the Batmobile, you wouldn't go for it. Sure you would. Well done, son. Well done.
A Hollywood actor doing that? I'm shocked.
No.
Someone in the film industry passing the time by having sex? That's unheard of.
I know. Only if there was a show
It's
called
a horror
Entourage.
movie.
Well,
It's
yeah.
a horror movie. Like the song from, back in the day in the 80s. Horror
70s.
movie, right? Well, 70s, but early 80s, but yeah, still.
It's on a record called "Living in the '70s," Paul. It's from the '70s.
Yeah, but it was
That's
late
70s.
70s. It was late 70s and
No,
early 80s.
it was mid '70s that was it early '70s because it was Skyhawk's first album.
Let's not
But
get
they
caught
kept
up on
playing those
semantics.
through the 80s.
Oh yeah, but I'm pedantic,
Caught up on
man.
semantics.
Pedantic man's going to pedantic.
All right, not a problem.
But
Anyway,
yeah, horror movie right there on my TV, and they're talking about the 6 o'clock news.
Chucking me right out of my brain.
Right. Yeah, see, Australians are good as Shirl and Red and the other three.
Shell and Shell.
Red
John
Simons.
Red.
and John
Shell and
Cliff.
Red. And the
And John
other
and Cliff.
guy.
And John and Cliff. Cliff was the bass. I could get him wrong. One's the bass guitarist, one's the drummer.
You
The
can
rhythm
make something
section.
up now. No,
Yeah.
no. Otherwise,
Yeah, exactly.
No. Serious, look it up.
Well, they became better known for like his show Better Homes and Gardens or whatever, and the other guy, the Gong guy.
Yeah, Red Simons wrote some jingles. Like, if you remember the Priceline jingle, he's the Satanist that wrote that. Like, I just want to stab
Red
you.
Simons is still on 3AW today.
Yeah. Oh, he's on 3LO. He was on 3LO. He was working for the ABC, but he does radio now. He wrote songs and he worked on Hey Hey It's Saturday, being part of the band. Shirley Strawn actually had that kids show called Shirl's Neighborhood with Claude the Crow, and that's early enough. And then I think he went into Home Improvements, and then died in a helicopter accident.
God, jeez.
Yep. Yeah, in the Blue Mountains.
Yeah. So, I think we've lost all our American listeners by now.
So, our John Voight Well, not John Voight. I'm sorry. The other one. John Voight's still kicking.
Fred Hollows.
John Denver. John Denver.
Fred Hollows.
Yeah.
You get John Voight to Fred Hollows.
Yeah,
clearly.
Ask me any question. The answer will be possibly vanilla.
Okay.
Steve
Ice,
Irwin.
Ice, baby.
Vanilla.
I recently watched all the Teenage Ninja Turtle movies as well.
Oh my
How do you fit
God.
all of that?
How
How do you fit Transformers and Turtles in for 1 week?
I know. How old are you?
While
You were like
two devices.
back to back, 4 screening, some kind of 24-hour. How do you get past the "Are you still watching this" kind of prompt that comes up every 4 hours or so? That's what I.
Well, I'm just wondering unlike you, that obviously faps all the way through lockdown. I watch movies. I've completed Pornhub. That's not really something to share. Especially when they 80% of their content was removed due to copyright claims. But
we're just laughing at you just trying to complete that.
Someone said recently that Fans Only was going all non-nudes.
Well, our OnlyFans said, we're going to start cutting out users sharing pornography and all that stuff. The creators could still do stuff in their framework. But
I thought that was their whole thing.
But they capitulated because they realised, we won't make any money.
But Monty's still in anime and this and that. So Pornhub in an anime would be totally amusing, Now,
strangely enough, if I'm watching a young woman enjoying herself, I don't really want her to turn into an 18-tentacle beast from hell.
Ninja Scroll.
Well, yeah, there is that. Oh, dear me. So,
dig up.
Yeah, dig up, stupid. 27 minutes to go. We're in the final quarter. Well, the grand final has been moved from Melbourne to Perth because of COVID, and I don't care.
Nor do I.
That went well. It was like, I think of something to talk about. Football, don't care.
Sports.
Yes, sports ball. Yeah. Well, that ate up 20 seconds. But I don't know. We're in that weirdness of what can we do apart from I watch movies. Especially if you're in lockdown. Now, obviously, if you're allowed to leave the house, we're jealous. Just pointing you can leave your house and you won't get accosted, mind you. It's getting a bit nutty in the United States as well. So
it's lucky when I don't.
No, go on, Paul.
Yeah, it's lucky when I stay in the house, actually, because the prior times when I actually leave, the second last time, the last time was actually okay. But yeah, a little bit fun, a little bit good, a little bit bad, but yeah. Well, I'll explain.
Now, also, just thinking of it as well, there was rumours about the great truckie lockdown of Australia. Didn't really go ahead that way.
Was that supposed to be yesterday?
No. They're doing it in sections, but they're not letting the police know straight away.
Good.
Ha! This is the Australian way.
Yeah, but the trucking company Toll, because they're actually in negotiations for wages, they're allowed to strike. They're not allowed to strike outside of wage. What's the word?
Pull the Eureka flag, mate.
Their lobbyists simply haven't greased the palms of the right people. That's how it works.
Negotiations.
With negotiations.
With wage negotiations, they're allowed to actually go on strike. That's the only time they can. Their agreements, if they're not in wage negotiations, they're not allowed to strike. That's how free Australia is.
Eureka stockaded. You can wear the stockade flag, right? You know where that come from? Come on, Ballarat. Back in 1862, 1864 or somewhere near close
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
Right?
But
the Eureka stockade. Now, what happened? all of the miners got shot by bloody troopers, right? And also, that's where Wilson Matilda comes into it as well, you know?
And then Peter Laylaw
yeah.
actually went into Victorian Parliament, and the suburb Laylaw is named after him.
That's correct.
But it was, for those who don't know, Eureka Stockade, it was a 3-day rebellion over mining taxes.
From the government.
Yeah,
Yes,
from the British-controlled government and the redcoats and all that. So that was our Revolutionary War. Oh, it was a long weekend. We lost.
But we had a bloody go.
Yeah, we had a go.
We had a real bloody go. Like First World War, Second World War. Yeah, still had a good bloody go there too.
All you need is the
slightly
idea.
Different.
All you need is the idea of people having a go to give you, you know. This is why French people have this reasonable layer of arrogance surrounding their whole being, because their whole country has overthrown that system once already.
Yes, the French government are the only government that are actually afraid of their people because of the last time.
This is why also Australians are proud to go to certain places in French places to stick your middle or stick 2 fingers up. And we just stick the one up these days, right? Say, hello, birdie flying. And because the French government and the Australian government shoved it to, obviously, the control of our governments at the time. And
right, I'll try and translate that. During World War One,
First World War and the Second World War to boot.
During World War One, the Australian troops actually helped out liberating the French, and that's why there's that connection where in certain towns you say you're Australian, you'll be treated almost like a god because of the actions of the Anzacs in World War One and obviously World War Two. Because that's where the Anzac legend was basically created. It started in Gallipoli, but it was the battlefields of Europe where we did our best work.
Even the Turkish respect us. We got grounds and this and that. Even though they were trying to do a development, we stopped it. And they still respect us every single year that we go there.
Yeah. When the veterans were alive, it's interesting, that decades later they're all friends because they survived and everything else like that. Especially back then in World War One, we were on the English side and they were on the German side, and so it was almost a proxy war. The Australians technically were invading Turkish land, but apart from that, why are we here? I don't know. Why do we hate these people? We don't. And so it's the Anzac spirit and all that.
I think if any country thinks of us like that, it's a pretty good indication of how the people that were over there at the time acted, in doing what they had to do.
Yeah,
did it in a good way, in a respectful way.
Interesting enough about Vietnam. Australia is no. Stop interrupting. The interesting part about Vietnam is Australia has got the only international war memorial in Vietnam because of the way the Australian troops fought the VC, and it started with the Battle of Long Tan.
That's right. How many people died in Long Tan?
I'm not sure of the number.
220.
How many did they start with? It was less than 400 men or something, wasn't it? How many Australians was around about 400 or 500 Australians?
Okay.
And they fought against 3,000 Vietnamese.
Yeah, we had Nui Dat surrounded almost, well, sort of-ish, because the Americans decided that it was a great idea to say, the Australians ain't been here and done bugger all, let's shove them in, VC, highly populated VC areas. So we established Nui Dat. And then, right, we made circumferences around there. So we had about half the regiment that they had built up, right? And then they had double the regiment that we had. and then it was on. Right? They waited until the rains come, and we only sent out a platoon, and then a regiment, and then 3 regiments, and then we had the regiment of the howitzers, and we had the SAS in reserves with the APCs. The APCs couldn't move because of the ground; they'll just sink, and they're just nothing stagnatory pillboxes, without any help. Yeah, not that good. So,
Not that
and
good.
also, yeah, not that good.
Yeah, if
So,
you've seen the movie Danger Close, I think it was on Netflix. That's actually about the Battle of Lontan, and it's not Tom Hardy. I can't remember his name, but he's the main Viking in Vikings. If you need,
That guy.
that guy. Yeah.
Was Longtan the one like in the valley and
I've met
it
a
was-
few of these people. So,
there was one that was in a valley and it was completely surrounded, and the Viet Cong kind of brought in the artillery by hand over like a couple week period to just completely surround this. That's not Longtan though, is it?
Something similar.
that was Longtan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
right.
was Longtan when they dropped boxes with blankets to cover the wounded, right? And all they dropped was boxes of ammunition and maybe a few grenades and this and that, but mainly ammunition, that somebody had to get there and start sparking up magazines again in the rain, hail, and and bombs.
It's a sketchy place to fly over at that
Yeah.
time.
Check
Yeah.
out Danger Close, the movie.
And you know how- how they done it?
That's great.
The helicopters come about 200 feet, and then they drop about 150 feet sideways, and some idiot would kick it out without falling out, right?
Sometimes.
And bomb it down. No. They had ropes or harnesses connected inside the choppers. So.
And a great Australian Vietnam War movie is The Odd Angry Shot, starring Graham Kennedy. That's worth watching as well, because that was made it's late 70s, early. It was less than 10 years after the war ended. So it took, was it
About a bunch of SAS.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
10 year. It took 10 years for a welcoming home parade, which I think was like 85
That's
or
correct.
86, because of the
stigma.
Vietnam veteran. Yeah, the stigma
Just the
of it was
lack of
just-
respect and slackness.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Because
Because
we lost our war, but we didn't lose our war. We won hearts and minds, and the whole lot. The Americans pulled out.
It's a rich tapestry of failure.
You're
yeah, and then you got American Gangster, where it just shows there was a massive heroin trade at the same time. So it's a multi-layered war, and it was going on. I think they were the Vietnam was under control for 1,000 years, and then right at the end, the French started stuff, and that was in the 50s. And then the 60s when the UN force stuff went in, and blah blah blah, and then the 70s, you have that great scene or memorable scene of the helicopter leaving Saigon, which is very reminiscent of what happened in Afghanistan.
You know
Almost
best
like
song
the identical
first time?
picture from a profile. Sorry, go on, Paul.
Yeah, you know the best song, but the worst timing.
Is it that improvisational jazz piece by Anchiro Sadrival?
No,
Okay.
Louis Armstrong.
Oh, for sure.
I see skies are blue, red roses fade. Yep, that was one of the best songs, but because of the Vietnam War, it didn't really get a good play. It was the last of the Louis, and singing Wonderful World. But then you see, it all get bombed to live in shit house, and no colours of the rainbow, no pretty in the sky.
Yeah, we're familiar with it. It's in Good Morning Vietnam.
That's correct. But anyway,
the movies.
Mhm.
Which I like.
And-
I enjoyed that film.
It was okay when it came out. I wouldn't go back to watch it.
Actually, do you know why he actually killed himself?
Did he kill himself?
Our fate. Yeah, no, he committed suicide.
Well, that's the
one
official
about-
story, yes.
Yeah, no, he did.
Did he?
Because he had
Did he?
an.
Well, he died, yes. But the official story is apparently he committed suicide because he had a form of dementia or Parkinson's, something very rare, and it was it would affect affect his memory.
He only had 3 months anyway. That's what the doctors gave him. He wanted to go out.
He actually talked to Billy Colony because Billy Colony has something similar. That's why he stopped performing as well. Where their beautiful mind, no pun intended, it's gone. And with a stand up, you just want, especially at Bill Colony, Bill would just walk out on stage and not have a set list and talk for 2 hours.
Yeah,
because that's how much of a storyteller he was.
And if you can't do that, then just snip it off, and everyone will just still love you for those bits that you did. Like, don't do a Madonna. Don't just keep going. So you're like 86 years old in a leotard.
Yeah, on your 17th facelift. Yeah.
Come and have a look at me, spread my legs to the cat. Get away.
Remember during the election campaign, I will give oral sex to everyone who doesn't vote for Trump. I'm like, well, guess what? I don't want that to happen. I'm voting Trump.
She is a bit of a floozy.
What gave it away? When she was a slut in the 80s, or
when she came out with the coffee table book of her spreading a flange?
Yeah. What a word. Dear me.
Everyone was thinking it.
Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about Madonna, but I mean the world is crazy. So
Sorry, dig up.
My Madonna's fine, but yeah, Madonna's iffy.
No when to say when. I think is the moral from that one.
I don't know if she wants to do more music, but she did like a Instagram video or something, and like she's had work done, so she looks like a 12-year-old Chinese boy now.
I saw that one when she was in the bath. It was about 6 months ago, probably longer.
Yeah, and it's like
she looked like an alien.
Yeah, like too many walnuts in a condom type thing. Yeah.
Or
Michael Jackson.
No, just ambiguous.
On the way we're seeing the transition.
Kind of ambiguous of sex. What's it called? It's very popular. It's very popular.
It's so popular, I can't remember it.
It's so popular that you don't know it.
Weird. Yeah, weird. People going, that's her clone, but really.
Who knows? Who really cares? It's like
that's the spirit. That's the lockdown spirit.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like,
who cares? I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm worn down, and it's very hard to try and do things because the motivation's not there. Mainly because I could go. No, like I actually want to buy a Venus flytrap plants because I'm tired of all the flies, as I said. And
at least you guys in Victoria have got it like an exit date, like a UK Freedom Day.
Well, really? Because if you remember, before this latest lockdown actually started, 2 days beforehand, we had 0 cases, and in 3 days we went into lockdown from 0 cases.
I know they'll keep doing it, but at least you got a date. I mean, we don't even have a date.
Around the 23rd, the 23rd of September is what the Premier said. Then the ABC website's like till October, and it the way out of it is obviously if the numbers drop or stuff like that. But they want the level of 70% of the adult population to have at least one jab.
Still playing hardball, and it's not going to happen. So it's going to take longer Yeah,
and it'll be interesting when there's the next election because if we actually have an opposition, I could see Andrews getting ousted. Because now, my mum was telling me earlier that his approval rating has dropped 10 to 20% in the last week.
Everyone will get voted out at the end of this. Every single person.
Yeah.
Hoping for something better in that eternal hopeful system that really makes no difference.
Yeah, like you can see the scheming of the president of the United States, where George Bush Sr. had Dan Quayle, so no one was going to shoot George. Obama had Joe, and you can see why. So, well, if you take me out, you'll get Joe Biden. Ooh, and now you've got, and now
see how it goes.
Yeah, and now you've got Kamala Harris, and it's like Joe or Kamala, Joe or Kamala.
Did Kamala seriously go to Asia recently under a "We're Back" campaign? That's a little bit insensitive. Going back to Vietnam and saying stuff like that.
Yeah, she went to a memorial or something that acknowledged the place where McCain was held, and laid some flowers or something. She's completely out of touch with reality.
That's already the wrong thing to do.
And then she laughed her head off, I bet.
Yeah, Joker style. Yeah. It's like, wow. Now, the thing is, I know way too much about American politics. I should write a book.
It's so fun, isn't it?
No, not really. Well, our political things are boring. But the line of succession is president, vice president, and then is it the leader of the Congress? Anyway, it's Nancy Pelosi. If Joe and Kamala are impeached and they get removed, the head of Congress, Pelosi, takes over, but only in a temporary position. She doesn't actually fill it. I don't think she will run out the presidential term.
When is a president ever impeached? Never.
Oh, well, remember those heady days when Donald Trump got impeached for a phone call, and look at all the stuff that Biden's done.
It's like threatening with a royal commission or something, just another thing where people go, we've investigated ourselves and we've found absolutely no problem, so everyone go about their business. I know that took 6 months and $14 billion.
They did that last year here in Victoria because...
Listen, I'm Daniel Matthews, and if you don't listen to Victorian lockdowns and this and that, I will actually send police down to say hello. And if you don't realise on how bad lockdowns could be, we're going to introduce a new lockdown. If you don't go and report when you're going to the toilet, there will be consequences. We will send the police down to check your stools and make sure that the paper is confinedly... Oh, I've missed
Finish it off. Hashtag take food.
Hashtag toilet paper must be recycled, or at least have a compliance date on it and use by date. And if you don't extreme your sheets out and write down the time, date, and usage of the toilet sheet, you will be under reprimand of the Victorian Police. Oh, sorry. AKA, this is a government thingo, and we're realising that it's a hard time at these times, but please spare some dunny paper sparingly because we're out of shit to say. Oh, over.
Was that a recording? Where was that from? Were you playing that off YouTube?
What I was saying is that there was a Royal Commission into the hotel security thing, quarantine, in April last year. And the most said statement in that Royal Commission was all done by Zoom. I cannot recall. And so no one took any accountability of letting COVID get through and kill, 800 elderly people?
How much did it cost to do that inquiry?
Oh, I'm not sure how much the inquiry was, but the contract for millions, not billions, millions. But the contract for the hotel quarantine was $30 million all up, and the private security company got $3 million. So my question is, where did the other $27 million go?
Yeah, what?
Because the hotels were already built.
Legitimately bill for more than $3 million. When you have to itemize it. The rest, you know.
$1,000 for a hammer. Yeah, and so sometimes the Royal Commissions are impartial. When we had the Black Friday fires, 10, 11 years ago, there was a Royal Commission of all the mistakes and problems, and where I think 144 people were killed. And a friend of mine, his dad, who's an ex-senior judge, was actually the head of the Royal Commission, and they figured it out. They put forward recommendations, and 10 years later they didn't do anything, and that's why we had the fires again. So
every single time.
They just kick the can down the road and just make a mess, basically. We have come to the end of a very long and exhausting Planet Collingwood. Thank you for sticking with us, everyone. I hope we've been a lovely distraction for 2 hours. That's almost a movie, if I was allowed to watch movies there, Cortek. See, that's how it works.
Name of your next sex tape, Distraction for 2 hours.
Yeah. And I could be in the same room. So a big thank you to Brandon Young, and Pony has returned, metaphorically, of course. Will you be doing a after party, Pones?
I might hang out in the alleyway. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hanging out in the alleyways.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, sass it up, God.
So we've got 3 minutes. So I've got to make sure, because last week we ran over time and had to do editing.
I didn't need an answer now.
No, I'm finishing recording and leaving. I don't care.
Like,
could be dead.
Impression of Batman.
Which one?
It's so tricky with
Anyway, you can talk after this. So let me do the wrap up and then we can talk. So that was Planet Collingwood. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours for another 2 hours of hilarity and fascinating talk. It has been fun, let's be fair. So thank you, Cortek. Where can people find you?
I might be in Minecraft.
Nice. Paul, where can people find you?
You're right. Revolution Radio.
Thank you very much. And Pony can be found at a secret location near me. And he's laughing at... Yeah. I wondered what you look like, Cortek, and dear God, I hope it's not that.
I'm going down the South Park going.
Yeah. Oh, my God, they killed Cortek. Yay! You're listening to Revolution Radio, Studio A, friendslips.com. That was Planet Collingwood. Oh, dear God, no. Yeah,
it's me, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, you can't do the voice, though, can you?
Oh, no, I can't.
And that's when Cortek Mina decided. Anyway, if you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please donate to the station so we can continue on. I will hand the talking stick over to Pony